everybody, everyone. This is Rick Jors, and of course, the title, more or less, of this is an Ascension update, and I will speak about some of the energetics and, of course, the timelines, and also any questions by anyone. Do not hesitate to put your questions in the comments section, and I will answer them as I see them. And happy 12/12 Portal Day. And of course, between now and to the 22nd, if we will, it's increased energetics coming in. And of course, on the 21st, we began to have the daylight hours become longer in the northern hemisphere, and more light comes back in. So we are in a great period, the most glorious time to really be upon the planet with what is coming ever so closer every day and with every minute as we go forward. So it's beautiful what is occurring. And having said that, when someone comes on, may you just let me know if the volume is good. I keep having pop-ups there that the frame may be too slow. So if it is, someone please comment, which would be great. And I get things set up here once again. It's been a while since I've did a live of this sorts again. Okay, thank you, Gary, brother. Hey there, Anita. Excellent, good stuff. Okay, so let's get with it. This is an Ascension update. So a general overall view, everything is really going much quicker than, let's say, divinely anticipated. And of course, it's because of all of the work of the divine ones uh, upon the planet that are in more of their power and awakened. And with each passing day, thank you, with each passing day, ones are becoming stronger and stronger in their divine prowess and their divine abilities. And one of the most main divine attributes that comes with this is the ability to co-create, to manifest, to effect, influence, and impact reality in a purer state. So essentially, again, the more pure one becomes with their virtues inside, this is why you do your inner work, the more impact that you have on reality in the good ways, in the most virtuous ways. And I use the term purity for that, because it is what your inner work is. It's to purify your actions, your reactions, your emotions, and your manners, and all of your virtues and all of your values and your morals and your ethics, however you wish to call it. But they are all extremely important characteristics of each to have to the fullest and the highest value and virtue at this time. So as a result, everyone is, for the most part, everyone that is awakened have begun their inner work in their divine empowerment. And with that, again, it's important, and it's happening for a very important divine reason. We could even say an otherworldly reason for because this is what we're creating, the new reality, a different world, but we're creating it right here from the ground and changing this um, uh, Gaia, the planet you're on, transitioning it very rapidly. And I know most of you know this, however, we have new ones that are constantly coming on, so sometimes it's great to give a little bit of background to refresh and reiterate that. So, as a result, we're more and more are becoming more empowered. It gets reflected into the ascending timelines and the ascension. And what it does, it expedites things and it makes things go much quicker. And, uh, and it's because of the divine ones upon the planet that know this and are doing their inner work and empowering themselves. It's having much more of an effect upon the timelines what was, let's say, divinely originally anticipated. So things are going extremely well, even beyond what was anticipated or expected. So it's a great job by all of us, what we're all doing. And with this, ones are finding you are entering also other levels of your abilities and your prowess, which is very real. And I have the opportunity to speak to at least um, several different ones through messaging or a few calls each day. And with this, I get the information and I get the feedback, and it becomes an accurate gauge on what's occurring overall on the planet and with the collective. And having said this, I only need usually to speak with a couple or a few a day uh, to know the progress that's being made because what we are with this collective, we are micro examples of the macro, meaning that if it's happening with one, it's happening with more, a lot more. So it's able to give a great indication on what is occurring. So, having said this, again, the signs are increasing. The signs in the day sky, if you will, beautiful clouds taking shapes, lots of rainbow colors, and no, it's not all because of chemtrails or contrails, whatever you wish. No, these are divine energies that are at work upon the planet. So, having said that, in the day skies, in the night skies, of course, lots of activity, and more and more are beginning to interact with the Merkaba ships, and of course, much more with that, more sightings and also more interactions. And as we go forward, these interactions, signs, and sightings will increase as they are already. So they continue to increase and increase and increase because we're going into a new reality. Now, having said this, it's a misconception. It is a misconception to think that we need all of the masses awake to transition humanity and this planet forward. And it's a misconception because you need to know your co creator powers and ability. And with this, I'll use one of the old simple analogies where one truly enlightened one can affect a million. So when you look at those numbers and do the proportion on it and uh, do the math, you can see it's around, I believe, 8,000 um, could do 8 billion. So having said that, the number really is not that large to take things forward, and we are advancing many things as a result of that. And once these 8,000, if you will, are in unity as well, it solidifies more of the divine space upon the planet, and it rapidly transitions everything upon the planet, timelines, and what have you. So, with that, I'll jump to a lot of the energetics. We have been so very busy. I believe the last year and a half, 2 years now, uh, preparing and constructing an energetic creational um, influence upon the planet directly. And let me say, it is very beautiful. It's growing more and more each day. Ones that are participating with certain parts of the construction of this, and with this, one of the confirmations and signs that one see that this is very real is the cymatic effects in the clouds above activated spots with ripples and what have you. But let me say that this is also worldwide effects coming from these energetic activations that we are doing um, geographically, and what we are constructing. And with us in the Netherlands is a huge energetic construction that we have made, and let's say we call it the New Jerusalem. However, it's in the Netherlands is only the engine of the New Jerusalem. Its extent goes out, I think, presently for a radius of 6,144 miles, with the epicenter here in the Netherlands. And with this, for ones that have followed what we were doing, over the last few years, and participated in assisting and doing the divine work with certain activations when we request it. Um, you know the extents of what we are doing, and you know how very real it is for yourself. And at this point, with us doing the energetic work, and any of you doing it, we know the reality of it, and we know the effects and the power of it. Meaning, also don't doubt yourself one bit. And we also have more that are just entering that level, and say, wow, can I do this? And what has occurred? Uh, the main thing is, do not doubt and question yourself. What I'm saying, this is very real. Continue what you're guided to do, and follow that without doubt, without hesitation, and without questioning. You want to take any questioning out of yourself and your abilities, because questioning is doubt, and doubt is fear, and it has to go. So, to make yourself even more powerful when you're doing any activations or any divine energetic work, do not question yourself at all. There may be at times, what you would think, what a human would think would be ridiculous things to do, like waving your hand or what have you. Uh, no, these are all important things, and if you're guided to wave your hand somewhere like that, do it. It's very important, and it's what you should be doing. So, having said this, at one of the main points of the energetic New Jerusalem, Femke and I had anchored in the heart, pure love energy there recently, and of course, in that area, into the energetic center, we had put in white light and what have you, but just recently, the last application to put into the divine energetic device was just pure love. Now, at this point, what I need to say, we are divine, we are omnipotent, we are the co creators, meaning that any work we do, it cannot be disrupted or manipulated by the darkness. For the truth is, the darkness cannot create on their own. And of course, the darkness are only fourth dimensional. Any nefarious being or nefarious alien, ET, or any darkness, they are only a fourth dimensional being. We are multi-dimensional, and we work and bring in multi-dimensional energies and divine energies that are superior over the darkness, and they become subordinate, that they can't do anything with it. And so just to let you know, they cannot do anything to these energetic applications of what we are doing. And that's why it's shared out publicly as well, because it's guaranteed and ascertained, and I know this as well as others. So most recently, it was about a Saturday, I think last Saturday it might have been, about a week or so ago. Yeah, today's Monday, perhaps about 10 days ago. Uh, Femke and I went to the center of the location, Wharton, Netherlands, and we anchored in the pure love. And having said that, we had just left the area, and then later two divine comrades, a feminine and a masculine, from the Netherlands. They had went there afterwards, and shortly after, they did not know we were there prior to my knowledge, and nevertheless, when they went there, they had a miracle occur, and with that miracle, what I may do is, his name is Frank, and I had asked Frank, we may do a live, or he may do a write up himself in the future about what occurred. But just to keep it simple for now, the miracle is, it's my understanding that he went to light a candle. He had a box of matches, and he struck the first match to light the candle, but the match went out. And the second match, so he got another one to go and strike it on the box, but perhaps about this distance. Before the match even touched the box, it burst into flames, and it stayed lit strongly so that he could light the candle. And and then when he lit the candle with it, he went to put the candle in the tree, but then the wind blew out the candle. So I believe he had to repeat the process. So he got the matches out again, and he saw in the tree a nice place to put the candle, that it was the sheltered from the wind. So he went again. First match he lit blew out, and the second match he took out did not even touch the box, and it lit itself in a powerful flame, and he put it onto the candle, and the wind would not blow it out, and he put the candle in the tree, as him and his divine companion, a feminine, uh, actually stood in the area to anchor in the great love. Now, with this also, they did not know prior right where to stand. However, after speaking with them after the event, when they shared what had occurred, they had stood in the exact same spot where Femke and I had to stand, were guided to anchor it in as well. So another confirmation. And another beautiful thing is, just as they were leaving, they noticed the name of a street. It was in Dutch, but I believe it translates to New Path, which was very well in alignment. How are we doing? Can someone just put up a comment again to assure that the stream I have is working good? Thank you. So I'll continue on anyway. Yeah, thank you, Terry. Great. Yeah. So with this, let's say a divine miracle has occurred. It's been witnessed by them too, and I'm also sharing it with you. And uh, uh, divine ones, nobody lies. This really happens, and we know it. So no, you put that. It happened, and it's great, great. Thanks, Jake. Yeah. So, this is one miracle that has occurred. Now, what we're dealing with is divine creational energy, meaning that also whatever we're doing is divinely supported in the angelic ways, prime creator ways, whatever the etheric realm, all of this is divinely supported and ascertained and assured. And this is why, with the light or the match, it had to happen twice. Just to rule out if once was a coincidence, twice is not. So you love that double confirmation. Um, so also in respect with this, Father, I believe yesterday, yeah, I had to put out the post that it's also possible in this area of that activation that there may be apparitions seen materializing of the divine, significant divine feminine, most notably Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene, or perhaps even more important divine feminine representatives. So I need to state this out here now because it is a very good possibility that it will occur. So this will be uh, perhaps another prophetic confirmation that will come if it needs to, for all of us and for humanity as well. But again, as I said before, there is no doubt in any of the work that we do, and we know who we are, and we know our connection to Mother and Father, Prime Creator in the least. So, very beautiful, energetic work, and also uh, we have another team that a specialist team, if you will, that is doing divine activations, and that is growing also with another. I believe it could be two or three other groups, and the heads of the groups are coming in and forming a team. So it's more than just what we call the specialized team, because there are some in the specialized teams that also has their teams. So it's I don't have the definite number, but I need to say that this is important for what I've been also confirming is uh, the individual teams that ones are working on. We are getting the exact confirmations from the work. I keep so busy, but just one example is I believe yesterday or 2 days ago, a straight pillar of plasma from the sun was delivered, the energetics for the planet. However, prior to that occurring, there were two separate groups that were working on the preparation of that. And let me just say, when and when it occurs afterwards, that's very powerful. And you know it's real, and you know it's divine. And again, I'm in a very beautiful, fortunate place to witness and confirm a lot of this. And having said that, I always love the opportunity to share with you how powerful all of you are. And of course, having said this, there is so much occurring that that I am not even privy to yet. Uh, it's extensive, and what I do, I just would not have enough time to know upon the planet what all of the groups are doing. But what I can say, everything what each group is doing is all instrumental for the total convergence and what you could call the flashpoint timing of the new reality. Now, having said that, um, with the timelines, what's occurring, I usually just use the identities that there's the 5D higher consciousness timeline, and then there's the lower timeline. Now, on this lower timeline, everything also is beliefs, and the ones of you that are on the higher timeline, just as a indicator, you believe in prime creator yourself, in divinity. There is no doubt with you, and that keeps you up here on this higher timeline, where you have a higher and a different perspective than ones on the lower timeline. Now, on the lower timeline, what occurs there is that it includes all of the masses, but it also includes the first, some of the first ones that are awakening, and some of the perhaps tertiary or fourth, fifth, sixth waves of awakening are still down on that lower timeline. And it's on that lower timeline where what I call the fighting against the old reality and the old power structures is still occurring. And it needs to be broken to be in alignment where we're all going very quickly. And let me say with that, it's divinely assured that it is broken. And where everything is belief in this ascension, uh, which also facilitates and expedites things. One of the ways, if you have that aggression within in the fighting, as you know, that is fear based, and what that does, it lowers the veil over the consciousness that um, then they're in a lower narrative, lower timeline, because they cannot see the simple solutions, if you will. But let me say that is breaking up a lot of the false beliefs and narratives that some were intentional to keep um, some looping and looping and not generating and in alignment with the new reality, but it's being broken. So there's great improvements being made there. Now, there's two perspectives. One, the highest perspective is everything is divine that is playing out. And the next perspective down from that is that, let's say, there's uh, false prophets, if you will, that are leading ones astray, if you want to take that perception. But what's occurring is these false prophets, also played a role, and they are also being identified because in this time, it's also the time of revelations where nothing can be hidden and everything has to be exposed, so humanity ascends forward. And where humanity is going is into this new world, this new society where everything is, free and abundant. It's not like this old, and this old has to be broken down. and that is happening very quick. So any not genuine leader is quickly exposed, um, and more of the truth revealed, so that the truth to the ascension and the ascending timeline for the planet to the 5D state of being, then they very quickly become aligned, and they can see this. So, having said this, it's with great joy that I do say this, that the lower timeline is breaking down more and more. And if we look at the masses and the family members not awake, uh, again, over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, with everything that has occurred, and also what is occurring now with, let's say, pressure put on the individuals with what would be called, within their economics, inflation and what have you. It's also pressuring ones, so that they also make a choice, and this is divinely orchestrated. And this also is awakening many more. So every day now ones are awakening, which is advancing. Now the overall thing upon the planet to transition ones out of a state of fear and to get into the new world where there is not the fear and the negativity. What we do is divinely we take the two main things that keeps ones in fear, and one of those was the control of the old monetary system. So that is divinely being replaced. It's already, let's say, accessible now with what's going on. And also, um, what was called legal and lawful structure of the old, which is totally all unlawful, and if you wish, all illegal, to their standards. So we're going to a lawful place with a new monetary system. So there's the new main monetary system for the planet, which is already all of the dynamics and mechanics and infrastructure for it is already here right now. Nothing needs to be made or created to support it. Everything is already here to support the new monetary system, and of course the new freedom and simplified universal laws for humanity. So all of that is already here. The thing is um, letting ones know that are fighting down here that they have an absolute choice, and they have the absolute solution. It's on the planet. So once they begin to stop the fight, and when they go into their own surrender, then their eyes will be able to see the ultimate solution, what is already here upon the planet. Now, with the lower timeline, I'm going to go a little deeper in that by saying that all of those that are still fighting, it's important to know that the old reality, the old systems, that there's nothing of any value left in there, and that it's not part of the future. So it becomes futile to continuously fight it. It's not divinely supported for the future, and it is in destruction. So the longer you stay in there, you're just spinning your wheels. Now, on the lower timeline, the way that it needs to be done is worldwide. So you need to collect the worldwide voice, majority voice of the people, to ratify the new monetary system and the new simplified law. Now, where everything is energy, once you are able to see this absolute choice, what it begins to do it begins to raise the vibration on the planet very quickly. And then, as a result, with the more that join to create the majority voice, as it keeps getting bigger and bigger, so does the vibration on the planet raise, and the stress level is eradicated. And it's very important because money and their laws, if you will, were designed to suppress and enslave humanity and disempower. However, this new choice is here, which does the opposite. So, as ones realize what this new choice is on an individual level, they become higher vibration and more empowered. And you add them together, what it creates, it then begins to generate a consciousness and also a higher energetic space where none of that old can exist in. For example, debt, there is no such thing as debt. And no human soul needs to carry any of that. And, it's absolutely ridiculous. And also, with this, there will be nothing external outside of one's um, to free humanity in the lines of basing a currency. The value is all within. And in this new world that's being created, it's based on the intrinsic value of the individual. So it cannot be stolen again, and it cannot be controlled. So they're all coming together with this most incredible monetary system that no one can abuse to use and control humanity again. So, having said that, it's also destructing the lower timeline, putting more pressure on it. So, as more joins the divine mechanism, the vehicle to bring all together worldwide with the one common goal, it keeps imploding and destructing the old. For this is a higher divine energetics, the new world, and it is superior over any of the other lower timelines or low narratives. So what I wish to say is rapidly, uh, all of that lower timeline is dissolving very quickly. It cannot substantiate itself much longer. For when you see a lot of deception and lies, what occurs, lie after lie to cover up a lie, then it reaches a rate of implosion that there cannot be any more lies to cover up the lies, and it has to go, if you will. So lies implode to oblivion, to a point of nothing, I should say, while truth expands outward and keeps getting bigger, hence the unity. And it's an open, infinite spiral. So anything with deceit has to implode upon the planet, and it's all divinely set up at this time that it does. And it's all about the energetics. So, of course, then we get back to the Great Awakening is happening for a very important reason, and all of the inner work for this is energizing the co-creators with more of their divine prowess to impact directly reality here upon the planet to change it into the humane ways. So it's very great what's occurring. And you know, having said this, is there any questions? I don't see any questions up in the comments. And hi, Anita and Alicia, yeah, and just Sam, yeah, Jake. Hello, everyone. Is there any, Jane, is there any questions? Anyone can put them in now if you have any questions in the comments, and I can answer a few of those before we continue. And as most of you know me, I could ramble and ramble and ramble, but let me just say with that, I'd sooner just answer a couple questions if anyone has any, and that would be great. And, for all of you, this is real that you are in the most glorious time, and there is the divine choice to be made right upon the planet that can end the lower timeline instantly within a month, once everyone comes to gather and realize that they have this choice, but also that they need to make this choice. It's the humane thing to do. And what I'm saying, they need to, from, let's say, the Ascension community and the spiritual communities, they would say no one says that to ones that you need to do it. But, I need to speak the truth. And yes, they need to choose the new way because it's the only way for humanity uh, to free theirself completely and place theirself in instant abundance. It's unacceptable what was occurring upon the planet with in the past, the direct violation of the soul's experience. And this is one of the reasons why we're here upon the planet, to correct and to change what was going on, and especially with the intentional, nefarious darkness and what have you. So the planet, if you will, is under divine control, and everything is transitioning very quickly. Thanks, William. So you say how many have signed on? So that is, I believe, with GPMS, which is the divine vehicle. There's just over 28,000 now have registered and agreed to the new world. So, and having said that, the majority voice worldwide is required, which is about 4 billion. Uh, However, also with the viral effect, what I wish to say, we could possibly have that majority in less than a month, and everyone could be, all of that battle could be all over once those that are keeping the battle going, that are genuine ones, know they have this choice that ends it all immediately. Nothing can be done upon the planet unless the majority of the people substantiate it and also ratify it. So this is very important for those on the lower timeline to know this. They're fighting and fighting. It's not the way to do it. You just unite everyone together, and we just create the new law and the new monetary system that nothing can oppose once you look at it. Uh, Laura Leonard asks, how do we sign on? I believe I got the website, might be here. What you do is you go to the consent tab on the page, and you click on that, and that's where you consent and record your agreement to be part of building the new world, to activate your sovereignty, your autonomy, which is your God-given rights. It's that simple. And with this, you don't need to fill papers out, and this is very important. You don't fill papers out and take them to a government to tell them you are an authority, because the moment you do that, you're recognizing the government as an authority that you need to prove yourself to. And by doing that, it indirectly disempowers you, or directly. So you need to be conscientious of your actions, at what you're actually doing. In the past, it was instrumental for all of this to occur. However, we're at the point now that by just uniting all together in the individual quick stamp of yourself activating your self-autonomy and in alignment with what is good for humanity, uh, this gets done very, very quickly. It doesn't, as I say on the lower timeline, I listened to something last night. One said it would take years to undo 150 years of what was law in the U.S. And the answer to that is no, it does not. Here's what you do with that 150 years and that 2,000 years that has transpired. You throw it all away and you start this new slate, what we have here for humanity. Everything was all about the money. So when you make money the good tool going forward, it eradicates all the problems and all of the law. You cannot fix anything in this, and this is the point. And it's not meant to divinely be fixed because it does not advance humanity forward. You cannot have an unequal disharmonic system like this was designed to do, and there is no fixes within it. At its core, it's designed to enslave, suppress, and oppress humanity. That is its core, and you cannot change that. It's not designed to be changed. This is why you got to throw everything away and you got to start with the new slate with everything that humanity wants, because you can create money instantly and to infinity. So the most common sense, the most logic is just to get the majority to agree to that. And let me say that 99% upon the planet will eventually agree to this. It's inevitable. So why not do it now so that on that lower timeline you limit a lot of this hardship that's still being inflicted upon ones? Thank you. I cannot keep it any simpler. Yeah, thanks, Francis, for putting that up. Terry says, is it necessary to clear past life trauma to ascend? Let me say with this, everyone here that is watching this and all of the divine souls what are upon the planet are ascending. Now there's two ways to ascend. One is keeping the physical vessel intact, having the Merkaba Kundalini activated, which is your light body. That keeps the physical vessel going through all of the vibration increases and the multi-dimensional abilities. So with those, we are taking the physical vessel through the ascension. Now, the other way ones ascend is through a death process, and there are at least some, but few, that at the soul level are choosing that. But what I need to say, what occurs with this death process is in reality there is no death, meaning that the soul, as we go forward, you may meet, let's say if your mom passed, ascended, and if she was a soul, and she ascended, it's possible you can meet her up here while you're still in this lifetime. Because what occurs as well, if your Merkaba is activated, your life can be extended for 1 billion years with these physical vessels, if you will. And with that, then you can more readily accept why you can see your loved ones as we go forward as well, and also in a physical state, without going too deep into that. But the main thing is to know that some are ascending through the death process, but death is not what ones were meant to, or what ones were told it was, to keep it simple. Um, so to clear the past life trauma, also Terry, with that, what I wish to say, depending on where one is at in your consciousness, meaning that if you think or feel you have past life trauma that is ancestral, you can stop that in the moment because you have the soul's choice to rewrite your soul contract in a moment and say, that doesn't apply. There, did you feel that? How like that was? It no longer, you just throw it away. This is your freedom. So you can consciously, you have the choice to believe you have a lot of trauma, but it's important because the stronger you become as a co-creator, if you keep believing you're having a lot of trauma, you're going to create a trauma loop for yourself. So if you're at high enough consciousness to know that you are manifesting and that you affect your reality, then you just say, no, I choose not to have any of that. And instantaneously, you can throw it away so you don't get caught in any of those traps. Now, for others that are still doing uh, their inner work, if you will, they may use that as an identification target so they can tackle with their inner work to get it done. But also with those ones, if your consciousness, if you are aware that you're able to manifest, then use your consciousness to get rid of these, what you may call traumas. And during that process, when you use your consciousness to identify the trauma, to get rid of it quickly, then be aware that there will be experiences that will be set up that are in alignment with that trauma, that are very similar, so that you can master that trauma. For example, if the trauma made you aggressive, then what you can do is you no longer act aggressive towards it when an experience comes up that is a replica of that. So you know that you just change your acts and your reactions, use your consciousness, and you apply your conscious knowledge to your experience so you complete it instantly or very quickly. Some may be a little bit layered, so you'll have some other layers that it may be a couple levels or several levels to it. However, maintain your high vibration and your consciousness state. Do not go down into fear, doubt in yourself, or what have you, and you'll see you'll master these very quickly. So there are no obstacles, there's only solutions and remedy. And yeah, even if you don't know what those lives were, again, it just, why you have the ability to clean the slate with yourself and with your energetics. So it doesn't matter if it's something from a past life, because reality is uh, you do not have any karma. It's only a belief. So by knowing this, you have the opportunity and the choice to change your belief that you don't have any. And this helps you cut the ties to any of those negative energetic anchors. Yeah, thank you, Terry. Great. Okay. Mark asks, can the universal law be found on the GPMS website? Let me say, Mark, yes, it's on there. We are constructing the website, but basically, what universal law is your inalienable rights, your God given rights. And yes, it is on there. It's also in your decree, if you wish, when you uh, fill out your consent, your agreement. There's also a decree there that you can state for your autonomy, and those are your rights with them. And of course, anyone can add more of their own rights in. It's just a basic list of your rights, but it's pretty well all inclusive with the God given rights. And it's above and beyond what any establishment or government gives you today on the planet, as we know. So yeah, you can just have a look at it, but it's the fundamental rights of every individual. So it's pretty simple. Okay, I'll have a look here. Yeah, great. So I think I'm caught up in the questions, which is excellent. And of course, we'll be with GPMS. What it's also doing is there's other light leaders, guardians, custodians that are upon the planet that come in to play significant roles with taking this forward, guiding it forward for the people as well. So I'm only one guardian of this, and in reality, where I said, there's about 28,000 that have agreed right now. In reality, those 28,000 are also guardians. And this is the thing, it's all community, it's all for one. No one is any better than anyone else. Ones choose what guardian roles they wish to do, and with it, and taking things forward. And no one is individually obligated to do anything if they don't wish and if they're not guided to. And this is one of your everyone's God-given rights, your freedom of choice, which is very important. Yeah, so it looks great. Don't see any more questions, and I may soon finish this one up. I've begun a series of we have done two shows now, and it's the individual sharing their divine story. And what I do with that is about a half hour. We do a live. It needs to be done uh, on your phones for the live. You cannot access it to bring on a guest from a computer. So both parties, I and you, need to have a phone with the Facebook app so you can come on through the phone. So what I'm doing is also started a series in a collection of divine stories because these are important as well, um, as a whole, to have for a collection for awakening ones. And but the bigger it gets as well, it's leaving a story here. Well, it's not leaving it. It's actually building more of the story, and supporting what all of us are doing. But very quickly, I don't see things occurring much longer where many are asleep. But having said that, the more of stories that you have together, it makes it harder for those that are asleep to say you're crazy, if you will. So we keep building these stories, keep getting the truth out there, and so this is one thing also, which I know is divinely important for you come on with your face, and give your divine story and speak about your um, profound experiences, your divine miracles, speaking with prime creator, mother, father aspects, your interactions with the angelics, the light beings, and the galactics, and all of these good things. So, and having said this, what I will be doing is some familiar names that that are are hosts of their own shows, and interview others about the higher consciousness and what have you. I anticipate having a few at least of those on. So this gives them the opportunity to share their story, so that everyone knows a little bit more about the famous hosts that are out there, getting ones to tell their stories and compiling all the divine knowledge and information. So it'd be great to get a few hosts at least, uh, on for about 30 minutes, so then you know more of their divine story. And of course, this builds a higher accreditation and validation, and also gives ones uh, more things to identify with what may have occurred with them, to know that a lot of these profound things are not as unique as one's thought, of course, in the past, and that these are very real divine experiences, and many can identify. You'll see similar themes and similar things, if not identical things, happen to you, what happened to some of these. So, great. Um, have a quick look here. Oh, Julie, I see. Yes, Julie, I'll write you down. And having said this, Julie, I just tuned in to your presentation of GPMS before I did this, and I love your flow, your speaking, and your energy. And yeah, it'd be great to have you come on to tell your important divine story. So I'll I'll put you down here on the list as well, and we'll do this soon. With the divine stories, uh, what I tend to do is I need to operate impromptu, and meaning that I cannot schedule these. So what we do is, hours notice. Hey, are you ready? And that one, if they're divinely supposed to come on, then yes, they'll be ready. Like yesterday with Allison Thiessen, she come on. She had to be number 2 in the series, and it had to be her yesterday, and everything divinely worked out that it was her. And I asked Father, and Father said, no, it's Allison has to come on today. And so just to let you know, so that is beautiful. That'd be great. Yes, Julie. It'd be great to have you on as well. And, also for I just love hearing all of the others' beautiful stories and experiences. I've been very fortunate to hear so many over the years, and I know they're all, so important and so true. But what occurs, like sometimes I only hear the story, and I suggest for the one to share it with others, but they don't. And this is so important in this great time of unity, to get these stories out there. And hey, Carolyn, I saw you out the other day. Yeah, beginning to come out there and do lives and shine your light. And thank you, sister. It's beautiful. And William, you're saying not many awake by you, and you're in Lake Erie and trying your best to wake more. You know what I say, William? We just don't directly awake them, like go and try to hit them over the head with a stick or impose things. What occurs is just keep being your light, putting the truth out, in posts or what have you, but the higher truths, just keep being the light, and they will come to you when they're ready, and then you can give them some more info, so that you're not draining yourself energetically by, come on, wake, wake. Because also, with this, there's 6 billion souls upon the planet. So that means there's 2 billion upon the planet that do not have souls as well, and they're not going forward. And, some of these you may have met in government areas where you could see they had no heart. They're just like a scripted robot. These ones are not human souls, too. So don't waste time trying to awake them. The human souls will come to you if you're to assist when it's ready. Thanks. And Carolyn, a week's time, she'll be doing another one. Okay, having said this, we're an hour and 5 minutes in, and I would say I'm going to wrap this one up. And let us say we're all doing it, and I'm so grateful for all of the work all of you have done to make this possible. And I know we're very, very, very close, at this point. We can't put a linear time on it, but all of the indicators are showing we're very, very close. So let's see what occurs with that. So, and also Jake, I see. Yeah. Yeah, any that wishes to just send me a private message. Any of you that have your divine story that you wish to share, just send me a private message, and I can put it on the list, and then we'll get it done, in the future. Yeah, unless they get too big of a list, I hardly have time now to do the lives. What I do, but we'll get it done. Yeah. Having said that, love, light, gratitude, peace, and this is unity, this is togetherness, and this is what this means, and this is what it takes in this now. So have a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you may be. Thank you.